Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahushai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahushai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahushai. Barak means bless. Atha means you. Yahweh means he exists, he is. Yahushai means he deliverer, he saves. And this lesson is really going to be about Israel lacks compassion. And this has been something on my spirit for something that just jumped on my spirit today. And I was meditating on how Israel is not compassionate. And I'm talking about the way we behave inside this gospel. We need to be more compassionate. We need to be more compassionate. We need to be more forgiving. We need to be more merciful. And I'm gonna get a scripture that really goes into what I'm talking about, because it's very important that we show that quality, because we want the Lord to give us that quality. So this is the book of Tobit, chapter 1, verse 17. And my clothes to the naked. You see? So the prophet Tobit was giving his clothes to the naked. Imagine, that's how compassionate our people were at one point. That they would see someone naked and they would clothe. That's how compassionate Tobit was. Carrying on. And if I saw any of my nation dead or cast about the walls of Nineveh, I buried him. So this is how compassionate Tobit was, that when he saw his people dead on the ground, he buried them. He didn't just allow his people to just be dead on the floor. He actually got a shovel, put the dead body inside the pit and covered it up. That's how compassionate the prophets of the Lord were in the ancient world. Very merciful men. Let me read that again. Tobit chapter 1 verse 17. And my clothes to the naked. So when Tobit saw his people, any of his people naked, he would give his clothes to them. And if I saw any of my nation dead, or cast about the walls of Nineveh, I buried him. You see? Tobit chapter 1 verse 18. And if the king Sennacherib had slain any when he was come and fled from Judea, I buried them privily, for in his wrath he killed many, but the bodies were not found when they were sought for the king. What does that mean? That basically means that when the king was requesting, where are all those bodies, man? Where are all those bodies that were killed? Because Tobit buried those bodies. So I gave one example of a prophet called Tobit that was very compassionate. Now I'm going to give another example. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 5 verse 33. It says, And I said, Speak on, my Lord. Then said he unto me, Thou art sore troubled in mind for Israel's sake. Lovest thou that people better than he that made them? So the point is this, is that the prophet Esdras was troubled in mind for Israel in general. He was troubled for Israel in general. The 2/3, the 1/3. Esdras was troubled for Israel in general. So, sorry, yeah, it's Esdras, right? He was troubled in general. So, at the end of the day, we're meant to have that compassionate spirit that Esdras had. So the angel Uriel told him and said, Lovest thou that people better than he that made them? Carrying on reading, it says, And I said, No, Lord, but of very grief have I spoken, for my reins pain me every hour, while I labor to comprehend the way of the Most High and to seek out parts of his judgment. You see? And he said unto me, Thou canst not. And I said, Wherefore, Lord? Whereunto was I born then? Or why was not my mother's womb then my grave, that I might not have seen the travail of Jacob and the wearisome toil of the stock of Israel? So Esdras is basically upset the circumstance of what Israel is about to face. Because you also got to remember, you're dealing with a damaged people. You're dealing with a people that have been damaged. They have lost their identity. They have been in numerous captivities. So we're meant to be very compassionate and patient with our people. Whether it be the 2/3, whatever it is, we're meant to be patient with our people. Whether they look like gangsters, whether they look like university students, whether they look like nerds or cool, whatever it is, we're meant to be compassionate on our people due to the fact of Esdras was compassionate on his own people. He was worried about Israel in general. Okay, so this is two examples. The first example I gave was Tobit burying his people, clothing the naked, and Esdras worrying about his people. He's in pain for the circumstance of Israel's condition in Jacob's trouble. So I've given two examples of two prophets having compassion towards their people. All right, now let me give the best example. All right, and who's the best example? Obviously, Yahweh Shai. So this is the book of Luke, chapter 23. I'm going to start verse 33. This is the book of Luke, chapter 23. I'm going to read verse 33. It says, And when they were come to the place which is called Calvary, there they crucified him, and the malefactors, one on the right hand and the other on the left. Then said Yahushua, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they parted his raiment and cast lots. So the point is that Yahushua said, Forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. And this is the best example of having compassion on your people. Forgive them, for they know not what they're doing. He got physically hurt. verbally hurt, mentally hurt, but he said, forgive them for they know not what they're doing. And my question today is going to be, how many of you brothers have been physically hurt in this ministry, mentally, verbally? But guess what? Yahushua went through 3 of those things at once. But he still said, forgive them, for they know not what they're doing. So we're meant to be compassionate. We're meant to be more merciful. We're meant to be more considerate. We're meant to be more merciful. Because you will not enter the kingdom if you are unmerciful. You will not enter into the kingdom if you are heartless. So this is the lesson that I'm bringing out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. I'm starting to make my lessons more shorter because I really want to get the message across better. I don't want to ramble for minutes and hours. I just want to get the message across straight to the point. But anyways, I hope to see you on the next lesson. I hope that this video has been edifying to you. So the moral of the story is, be compassionate on your people. So I'm going to close out with that and give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Shalom to the hopeful elect.